All right. Hey, everybody. It's Andy with Open Up. This is Open Up with Andy and Jay. I'm Andy,
I'm Jay.
and this is Open Up. So open up your mind
Open up your conversation.
and open up your world. So this week we're going to continue our conversation from last week about police and relationships with police and our lack of relationships with police. We left it pretty strong last week. We've got some more thoughts on it. We want to talk about it some more. We think it's an interesting subject, and it's really deep on the hearts of Jay and I. So it's something we really want to get into.
Yes. Like I say, I like how we bringing it up again because we constantly dealing with it in the news and on social media. So I think it's something that we should address. You know what I'm saying, as often as we possibly can, so everybody can be aware. Don't think it's just something that's not happening. So that's just to make everybody aware and have the conversation.
That's a big statement there that people think is not happening. You know, there's a blindness, if you will, to people knowing what's going on in the world. I know I'm not a big fan of the news anymore because everything's so negative, but we have to know what's going on around us. Okay, we have to realize, and not just to us, but around us, to other people, and that's a big point that I wanted to get across this week. We can't be blind to stuff that's not going on just cause it's or that's going on just cause it's not going on in our world.
Yeah.
You know, we have to change things all over the world, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, because it's easy to get trapped in your own world, getting up, going to work in a work environment, and you're not out mingling with people and seeing different stuff that people deal with on a daily basis. So, like you say, it's easy to get caught up in, oh man, that's not really happening. That can't be for real.
Or
Somebody
it's
else.
not that bad.
Yes,
You know, oh,
yes,
it ain't that bad.
yes,
It's
yes,
not that prevalent
yes.
in our society, which it can very well be. If just because you're not paying attention doesn't mean it's not happening. So, you know, it's kind of like you get in your own little box. I think sometimes people get in their own box. I know by me not watching the news so much this year, just because of everything that's going on, uh, it was good for me because I didn't want to get tied up in it and get
Yes,
in all
yes.
that emotion. But there's some emotion that we need to get out of it, I think.
It's the only
So,
way you're gonna get a chance to see it. One of the thoughts I had been lingering in my mind all week was about about how the Constitution was written, and I just feel like that plays a part too because when all that was written, the Constitution, where was it was nobody else at the table but certain people.
right.
So that's why when me and you had the conversation last week about, it doesn't apply to everybody. The rules that's for you is not for me. And most people would say, well, how could that be? Because when the rules was written, nobody was at the table. So it was mainly to protect a certain group of people.
Right.
So I just feel like to address it.
But don't you think there's language in there that they didn't even realize maybe that they were putting in the document
No,
at that
see,
time? You don't think there is?
no, I think that's a misconception because that's what they want us to think. But if you just go back in time in history of when it was written and what the reason it was written for, it was to protect a certain group of people. That's why most people would say that law don't apply to me. It don't apply to me because it was never written for you. Like I said, I done been a part of writing procedures and policies for different groups of people, right? So when you sit at the table, you want experts from everybody.
Right.
I want the expert of this group of people, this group of people. So when we write this policy, it's going to affect everybody that's in this area where we're going to be working. So it's the same with us out in the world. If you don't have this this group in the picture when you're writing the laws, if you don't have this group in the picture, you can't say that all the law is for everybody. It just sounds good to say, okay, well, when this law is going to protect you. At the end of the day, it doesn't, because it was never written for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
that's
understand.
so.
But my question for you is, what do we do about it?
we got to come back to the table.
We need to rewrite the. You saying we need to rewrite the Constitution?
Yes, we need
You
to.
think we need to rewrite. You're saying we need to rewrite the Constitution of the United States.
Have since I'm going back to your words, you say we should all be equal.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and I feel the same way. But that's the only way you're gonna have everybody equal when you have the different groups that are now considered to be as one. That's the only way you're going to be able to get those people there to say, okay, well, how this is affecting us. Y'all say this law was written to protect all the people, but at the end of the day, it just protects a certain group of people.
Okay.
So I feel like with everybody at the table now, who's to pick who them people going to be?
Boy, and that's where I was going to go next is.
Yeah, I knew that.
I don't want to be the guy that says this 35 or 36 people right here need to rewrite the Constitution of the United States. Because I don't even know. I mean, I trust me, I didn't come in here prepared to discuss the Constitution of the United States. I'm not saying we need to quit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm not prepared to tell you any facts about it, or how many people were actually signed on the Declaration of Independence, or or the Constitution of the United States. Or I don't know what that would entail. I tell you this much: I don't want our government right now doing it.
But when it was written, that's who done it. The people that was ruling at the time.
But they weren't a government. They might have been people in power.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the people that was in power at the time, when they wrote it, it was to protect those people. It wasn't written to protect everybody and you all on the same plane as equal. There's no way that could be possible, because if that was the case, the slavery wouldn't have never came into play.
Slavery was there before and it was there after.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would have got, once you written the Constitution, it would have immediately went away then.
Yeah. It should have. Okay.
But it didn't, because it was only to protect a certain people. Like I say, I don't want to be the one.
They only enforced it for a certain people.
And I don't want to be the one.
I think over the past couple of hundred years, we've started enforcing it the way it should have been back at that time. But that doesn't mean that it's still a proper document. I think it's a very good document. It's a baseline, if you will. But I can see your point.
Yeah, I think it needs. I just feel like it needs to be revisited if we're gonna ever be on the same plane. If we're gonna ever be able to sit at the table and feel like we equal as one, we have to come back to the table.
You know what I'm gonna be doing this week, right?
I know you're gonna be looking up the Constitution and seeing it. But that's good. But like you say, we don't want to be the ones to do it. But if we could get enough people to buy into what we doing this for open up, if we get enough people saying this the way it should shift, and this the way it can help everybody and affect everybody, that's all we want. That's all we want to do. We're not saying that we want to be the spokespeople to rewrite it, but we just have to have that conversation. Just like we want people to open up, they have to be willing to open up and say, hey, they right. We should rewrite it and see how this can affect everybody, and everybody is protected by it.
And that's not going to go easy.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That's not going to be an easy thing. I mean, that's a big task. But where we started is doing just what Jay and I are doing. We started by having conversations with people that are different than us, that have different viewpoints than us. I never thought about rewriting the Constitution as a fix for things that are going on in our country right now. And I don't know that we can even legally do that. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, never claimed to be, don't want to be, but don't have a degree in law whatsoever. But the legalities of all that and trying to do that, it's reshaping our world, which is what we need to do. Okay, we need to reshape our world and get it to where it truly is. All men are created equal.
But that, like you say, that ties into what we're talking about with the police brutality and things like that, because they understand, for some odd reason, it is written for them where they understand this doesn't apply to everybody now. So when you go out there to do your job, when you doing these laws, it's okay to not make sure that everybody is addressed by it. You see what I'm saying? So if a police officer pull you over and you start saying the law to him, he feel like you know it, but he can, in his mind, he really saying, well, that really didn't apply to you.
Right.
And that's the point where I say that has to be a base of it. Not saying that that's the only one thing that we could do to try to change
No,
it and get the.
there's not one thing,
Yes,
period,
it's
here,
a
I'm
lot of
saying.
legs, but at the same time, you have to get to the ground. You have to get back to the root of it and say, why was this stuff created? Why was police even brought into the picture?
Right.
What was their role 500 years ago? What was a police officer's main role?
I don't think there was really police officers 500 years ago. I don't know, but I think it was all military back then. Okay, I think it was all if they were enforcing laws or governing people that back then. Mostly back then it was monarchies and kings and queens and then you had 500 years ago, but and I don't know where it morphed into the police departments that we have today. Uh, Police department are not our military, okay? But and we saw a deal this week where we talked about that the police don't need to be armed like the military, but they are our first line of defense in a civil unrest type deal. So if we do away with the police, I think then the only recourse for anything going on like that is calling the military, and that means martial law. And I don't want to see that. I'd rather see police departments out there that are acting right. Okay. Now, what I do think we need to talk about is the responsibility. Okay.
Of the police officer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you talked last week about the police unions enforcing stuff and how they should go in and hold people accountable. And I think that to go a little further than that, I had a conversation actually with my wife this week, and there's an accountability. She's in the foster care system, and there's an accountability coming down to where if somebody has a group home, okay, for foster kids, and there's a case of abuse and neglect in that, the head guy, the head person at that facility is going to be held responsible for that, and actually legally responsible for that. So it's not just the perpetrator that had the abuse and neglect, it's the head person. Yes. Okay, and I think that is a fix that we could do in the police department. If there's something going on,
why they don't do that?
I don't know. I don't know why they don't do that.
In the field that me and you work in,
right.
If we direct somebody to do something that's not right and they end up getting hurt, or
if we just turn a blind eye to it,
yes,
okay, if we don't say something, okay, that's the deal.
Yes.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that if they tell them to go out and do something wrong,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that if they allow them to go out and do something wrong, they should be held responsible.
So, but why you think they're not being held responsible? Why you think like the sergeants and lieutenants, the guys who are hiring these people, and once they bring them in and they start seeing a trend of abuse in the neighborhoods, or they getting complaints on certain police officers, and nothing is being done about it, at that point, they should be held accountable.
You're
I know
right.
they have to have some type of audit system or something where these officers are getting reported on and nobody's doing nothing. So at that point, who does something? Why this hasn't been addressed to where if you go out here and kill somebody unarmed or whoever it may be, and nothing happens to you, you get administrative leave. How could that be? That couldn't happen for me and you.
No.
We going to jail. we gonna get a bond. I mean,
Well, in
that's
our business, in the construction business that we're in, if we go out there and we allow something to go on a job site to where somebody dies,
Mm-hmm.
okay, even though it wasn't our fault, we're out of there.
Yes.
All right. We have lost our jobs. Now we may not
And
be
legally, yes,
legally we can be held responsible legally and financially held responsible.
Yes.
You know, it can come back and bite us. So I don't know. I don't know what the fix is and where we go. But so let's ask our viewers, where do we go? What do we do? So if we got any police officers out there, we'd love to hear from you. We're actually looking for viewpoints from police officers in all areas. So if you're a police officer and you happen to be watching our video on YouTube or listening to us on our podcast, reach out to us. Let us know and give us your viewpoints. Like we said last week, you may even be on our show, and we would love that. We're looking for a couple of guys or ladies, whatever, to come on to the show and explain your side of it and tell us what's really going on in your world, because we don't know. We're not police officers, okay? Jay's had some experience with this type of racism in the police force. I haven't had that type of experience with them. I've had some experience I've got friends that are police officers, and I'm gonna reach out to those guys, but we need to know, and our viewers and our listeners want to know too. So this is a story that's prevalent in the news and all over the country right now, and the best way for us to fix it is to open up a conversation about it and get it out there. That's the best way for us to do it. It's less violent. We're not going to get mad at you if you come on the show. We promise we're not going to get mad at you when we leave. At the end, we're going to shake your hand and say thank you for your opinion. We may not agree with it, and Jay may not agree with it, but we're going to still be thankful that you came.
Yes, and that's what we need. We need interaction with the other side, so people can hear what they was trained with, what they was taught, and why they have the beliefs that they have when they out in the field working. Because like I said, I just have to keep going back to our field. When we out there working, we are held accountable for a group of people.
Right.
And documentation is our best friend.
Man.
So,
and our worst enemy.
Yes. And so I know they have to have the same thing, because anytime you go into a court of law, that's the first thing they bring out, what the police officer report is. So he has to be documenting his daily activities. So when something comes about him, he should have to address it.
Yeah.
So like I say, we want to hear from y'all. Our main goal is to have this conversation so we can hear from the other side. We want to hear what you have to say, and how do you really feel when you come to a community? What do you look for? What are the things that makes you say there's something that's not right going on? And are you the person that always looking to de-escalate a situation? Like I say, I sent Andy a video. We constantly watching different videos on different sites or whatever, and I sent him a video of this guy just sitting there on a bench ordering his food. We didn't know what the conversation was before, but it was like 20 police officers came. And the guy didn't stand up. He didn't stand up. He wasn't
just sitting there.
Yes, he wasn't showing no type of threat to the police officers. And one of them,
as far as we could see on the video, his only offense was not giving him his ID.
Yes, and
that was it.
And that goes back to, I'm glad you said that. That goes back to one of those laws that's written that says you don't have to present your ID if you're not doing nothing wrong.
Right.
If you're not under investigation for a crime or something like that, you do not have to give a police officer your ID. But that's one of those rules that's written that wasn't meant for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel strongly about that. But back to the incident, and before you know it, it's 20 police officers on this one guy, and he got his hands up saying, I'm not resisting, I'm not fighting, I'm not resisting. So not one police officer stepped in and said, hey man, y'all hold up, let me talk to the guy. Those the people, when we all say all cops are not bad, those are the people that I want to see step up.
Yeah.
I want to see those people when we can get on TV and on news. Well, you can't put all police out in the box, true. But if you have 20 police officers for one guy that doesn't have no type of gun, doesn't have no type of threat to you, tell me why one person can't step in and say, hey man,
hold up, guys. Hold up. That's the accountability factor, and that's where we have to start making changes, and we have to step in. We have to take that responsibility. We have to, every one of us, not just police officers, but every one of us has to say, look, you're not treating that person right. Just because whatever your reason is, it doesn't really matter. You're not treating that person right. It doesn't matter. And you said sides right there. You know, you just say, you said sides, made me think of something that because we Jay and I we try not to talk too much during the week, but it's kind of hard. We talk a lot, but we try to hold these for our recording sessions here and get it going that way. But are we on different sides? You and I, are we on different sides?
On different sides?
Yeah.
No.
No,
I feel we on the same side. Is based on what we're trying to accomplish, but our life experiences make it seem like it's a different side, because I see because what my experience, what I done been through,
Right.
and what you have been through, it make it seem like we're on different sides. But at the end of the day, we want the same goal.
Right.
We want the same goal where everybody's treated equal, everybody is on the same page, and everybody is planting that seed of love. That's what me decide me and you on.
Right.
And like I say, but that still don't mean me and Andy gonna agree about everything.
No.
So
Because I'm not sure about this rewriting the Constitution bill. We're going to have to look into that.
no, I mean when I say rewrite it, I mean you have to get
understand.
you have to get everybody at the table. You have to make sure that
I think it's a good document. Okay, I just have to believe that. Okay, maybe that's just me and the.
I don't think
and
so.
You don't think it's a good document?
No.
Really?
No.
Not even any of it? None of it?
I mean it's a good document based off of how can I say this?
See, we're on different sides. Here we go.
No, it's a good document based off of something that was written because you got to have a foundation. Just,
Right,
I look at how the country was founded and stuff. So you have to have something in place.
Right.
But when I look at the whole scenario of who was sitting at the table making this document, who was involved with it, and when I know for a fact the people of my color was nowhere in the
No,
picture.
no.
They wasn't the ones who saying when the Fifth Amendment was wrote, you have a right to say no. That wasn't we didn't have that right.
Right.
So that's what I mean by saying I'm not saying just take the whole Constitution and wipe it away, but some of the stuff can be amended.
Yeah,
you know what
because
I'm
you
saying?
couldn't have the right to remain silent if you didn't even have the right to talk. You know.
So that's what I mean. So, but now we have a right to talk. We have a right to vote. So all that stuff should be. Those people should be at the table. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Having
right.
those type of conversations, saying, well, when this happens, this has to apply to us too. It can't apply to just one side because, like I say, when that was written, it was written for one side. That's how I strongly feel about it because if somebody feel different, prove me wrong.
Right,
Prove
right.
me wrong to say somebody else different was sitting at the table right.
Oh, no. Now, I don't think anybody can say that there was somebody else sitting different, sitting there at the table like that.
So that goes back to what me and you have right here.
Right.
If me and you agree on everything, it's easy.
Oh yeah, but
So-
and that's not what we're here for. Not
No.
here. It's not going to be easy. Okay, changing our world today is not going to be easy, and the conversations are going to be they're going to be deep. Okay, they're not going to be easy fixes. It's not going to be easy for us to have a conversation and with other people. Jay and I get along great. Okay, we do, and even if we don't agree on something, we don't let our anger get in the way or involved at all. But there are people that we know when we're talking that are going to be like, oh, I don't agree with that. That's BS right there. We're not going to go with that, you know. And so we understand that there's going to be challenging conversations around
what
this
we
whole
need,
subject.
though.
But that's exactly what we need. We
need-
have to have challenges in our world.
We can't have everybody that's portraying, oh, this is fine. I don't deal with it, so I don't have to. I mean, I don't have to speak about it.
We don't want to get that back in that box we talked about at the beginning. Yeah.
So we have to have those difficult conversations to get us where we need to be as a country. Like I say, when we base everything off of what you see on the top as far as our skin color, that's where we start losing. We have to get to know somebody and understand their ideas and most likely, I mean, mostly is just understand why they have the beliefs they have, why they deal with different situations, you know what I'm saying, a certain way. So
And you can't understand that if you don't get to know somebody.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
You can't just say, "Hey, how you doing today?" "Oh yeah, that's my friend over there." Yeah, and walk on by and then
You don't know
and then
nothing about him.
You know nothing about him. You can't do that.
Nothing.
You have to learn to get to know people. My challenge this week, I've got a little cheat sheet here in front of me this week, and I wrote down some things. And my challenge is that I want to reach out. I want everybody out there to reach out to somebody that you know of a different color. Whether you're black and you're reaching out to a white person, Spanish person, whatever, reach out to a different color, different religion. Just reach out to somebody different than you and get to know them. Okay, they're probably you probably know them already, Okay, you maybe a coworker, maybe somebody at your church, maybe somebody that you just see at a baseball or a football or game or something. But reach out there and try to really get to know them, not chit chat, not hey man, how you doing? Oh, I ain't seen you since last weekend at the game. Not stuff like that, but get to know these people. Okay, because that's how we're going to fix everything. We got to bring everybody to the table.
But I think the scariest part about it that people they don't like to have those difficult conversations because they're afraid of how somebody else may react.
Okay, so the first conversations don't have to be difficult.
No, it don't.
Okay, they don't have to be that deep. Okay, I mean you don't.
But you don't. But it's okay though.
Yeah.
You have to instill people. It goes back to what we talk about this. See, you have to instill in people that, man, it's okay that we have different thoughts.
That's right.
It's okay that
That's
we not going to agree on everything that we talk about. That's fine. That makes you who you are. But the base of it, our skin color and things of that nature, we got to get past that. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind the like you say, the small chit chat, but it's okay to have that difficult conversation.
Well, yeah, and that's why we're asking. That's what my challenge is to get to the difficult conversations.
yeah.
But you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, when you reach out and when you talk to somebody that you already know, probably go ahead and say, "Hey, man, what do you think about this?" And talk about the police. Talk about Colin Kaepernick. Talk about stuff that you may not agree with, that they may agree with, and try to open those conversations up. Don't get mad at people. Okay, we're not asking y'all to go out there and start an argument and a fight, but we're asking you to go out there and open your ears, okay, and listen to their viewpoint, and that'll open you up.
Yes, because everybody has a different view because everybody was brought up in a different way, so. Their mindset is maybe totally different from yours, but like I say, man, at the end of the day, that is fine.
Well, then they're wrong, right?
Huh? No, that's fine.
No, I'm joking.
But like I say, man, just stay positive, continue to plant the seed of love, and a lot of times just listen.
Yeah.
A lot of times if you meet somebody and you can almost tell when somebody just want to talk, it's some stuff that they got in them that they want to let out. Let them talk.
Yeah.
And you can probably end the conversation. I've been in several conversations where the person just want to talk about all different kind of stuff. And I just I don't give my opinion. I don't do, okay, that's fine. Now the next day when I see him, he'll listen to me because they really want to know, man, what is he thinking? Did I say something wrong?
Right, right.
The next day you can go back and, like you say, that's just grooming the conversation. You know what I'm saying? For you know it, this person like, oh, we almost alike. But at the same time, you think a little different than me.
But we are alike.
Yeah.
Okay, we are alike. We may be different colors and stuff like that, but it's human nature. We are alike.
Yes.
And it doesn't say that it's black human nature or white human nature. It just says it's human nature for us to want to talk to people and to want to for them to listen to us. Okay, that's a human nature that we want to share. Most people want to share what's on their mind and what's on their hearts, and you have to do that. But you have to be able to, like Jay said, you have to be able to listen.
Yeah,
okay,
so be there listening.
Yeah, so if you're not listening, you're not having a conversation. You're just talking, and it's two ways, you know. So
for me, our conversation about the police. I believe that, man, trust me, I understand they have a hard job. I understand that the profession that they chose is challenging at times, but that's something you signed up for. You got to think of, how can I do this job the best way I possibly can without hurting somebody, without me being involved in a confrontation where somebody lose their life. And I know that has to play on somebody's mind, that if they kill somebody unjustly, that when they go home and sleep at night, that has to bother you if you got any type of conscience. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I always wanted to know, how do you open that conversation up with the police officer?
Well, how do you?
You got to have a conversation.
Yeah.
They got to come to open up. They got to open up with us.
So, do you do that? Do you talk to them if you see them out in public? Do you talk to police officers?
No.
Okay.
Only reason I don't, because the majority of the time the police officers are not approachable. you can almost tell the ones, you speak to them and say different things, and you can almost tell that they don't really want to be bothered in that nature. You know
We're
what I'm
going to
saying?
dinner this week. You know that, right? I'm taking you to dinner this week. We're going to go find us some police officers. We're going to have dinner with them somewhere.
Gotcha.
Somewhere. So any of you guys in Gonzales or Donaldsonville or somewhere like that, y'all see us out and about, y'all come talk to us, man. Heck, pull us over. Let's have a conversation.
No, don't pull us over.
So, anyway, no, well, see now, I don't mind getting pulled over. Jay, he's on the other hand, but we're good. But anyway, so. All right, bub. Well, look, we're going to wrap it up for this week. I'm Andy.
I'm Jay.
This is Open Up. So open up your mind.
Open up your conversation.
And open up your world. We'd like to thank all of our listeners.
We would like to thank all our viewers.
So please hit the like button and subscribe.
You can find us on all major podcast platforms.
And if you have a topic you'd like to discuss, comment below or email us at openup.pc@gmail.com.